right, and we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the final part of the show, we are going to talk about the Jaguars. We'll talk about Shad Khan and the recent comments that he made on the collapse from last season for the Jaguars. So, another AFC South topic here. We did the Titans schedule. Now we're talking about the Jags and their collapse from last year. So, this is what he had to say. He said, injuries are a part of the game. We had some of those injuries, but I think it's organizational failure that it happened. All of these players I talked to, it's like, how could this happen? What happened? And he said, for us, winning now is the expectation. He said, I have an opinion, but I don't want to tell people we need to do it because then things don't work out. They look at me and say, we did it because you wanted it. Okay, I think this is on. So he was talking about, I guess, things on Doug Peterson and the offensive coordinator, Press Taylor. So I guess, again, it's more so with what happened with the collapse last year. And then he said how with Doug Peterson, he said, Doug, he's empowered. I'm going to let him decide. And this is it's about play calling duties there. So and then the last thing he said here was, for me, it's really a cause for self-reflection and then something good to come out of it because we just can't have that this year. And again, this is from trying to finish stronger this year as opposed to last year. But yeah, I mean, this is a make or break year. I mean, based on the comments, and I know it kind of sounded a little unorganized how I was going because I was just reading off of the quotes from what he said. But yeah, it just it was kind of a surprise just how this team was in prime position to win the AFC South. And after they win against the Texans, a very close game, they win that game in Houston, and it just looked like they were in the driver's seat for the division. I said it on the show. I mean, you go back and I forget which show it was, but I mean, if you go back and you, because I know I did a segment on it, so if you can try to find it, I probably did say, oh yeah, it's over. The the Jaguars, have this division, and the Texans' best chance is trying to make the wild card, but that did not happen. The Jaguars they went into a free fall after that, and. If Trevor Lawrence doesn't get hurt against the Bengals, I think we're having a different conversation. I think the Jags probably do make the playoffs. I think they probably win that game against the Bengals, which ended up going into overtime. But yeah, that was with Jake Browning at quarterback. But yeah, it's just late in the year. I mean, they lost to the Ravens, which the Ravens were really good last year. You lose at home. That was a home game. And the year before that, the Jaguars beat the Ravens at home. But, this was a different Ravens team. They lost to them. You lose to the Titans. You lose to the Browns and Joe Flacco. Trevor Lawrence probably shouldn't have played in that game. He threw 3 interceptions. Did not play well in that game either. They collapsed. And I didn't watch Jaguars games closely last year. I could really say, really all I could say is Trevor Lawrence getting hurt. That hurt them. But yeah, it's just everything just went wrong for them. The defense didn't play well either. It's just everything kind of fell apart. And, now going into this year, the division's better. And I had them only winning 8 games. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be the case. Even in 2022, they made the playoffs, but yeah, they only went 9-8. And they still went 9-8 last year, and they missed the playoffs. So, now I got them winning one less game, but all you had to do is just win one more game, and you make it. But the Jaguars, they are putting full faith in Trevor Lawrence that he's the guy, and I think he is. But you want him to go out there and have an MVP type season now. Go out there and show that you deserve to be the number 1 overall pick in the 2021 draft. Show why you were drafted that high. And, 2022, towards the end of the year when the Jaguars went on that run and they won the playoff game against the Chargers, they had that epic comeback. That's the best that we've gotten out of Trevor Lawrence, but we want to see more now. Put together a full season, play really well, beat some teams that, go on the road and beat the Bills early on in the season. Now, the Bills, again, they've gone through a lot of changes, but go on the road and beat the Bills in Buffalo. Show us something. And they got talent on this team. We got to see, how this receiving core is. Like Christian Kirk, they paid him all that money, and last year he got hurt, but the first year he was good. Evan Ingram has been solid since they got him. Travis Etienne has been one of the better running backs in football. You bring over Gabe Davis. How is Brian Thomas Jr. going to be in his rookie season? And then on the defensive side of the ball, the guys up front with Walker, Josh Allen, and now they got Eric Armstead from the 49ers. I think the defensive line is going to be good. How is the defense going to be? And, we'll see. I think for me, this team, how they make the playoffs, I think is going to be through the wild card because I like the Texans to win the division. But, that doesn't mean that you have no shot with the division. I know the Texans, they made a lot of moves, and now they got Stephon Diggs, and, they are the defending champs of the AFC South. But, if Trevor Lawrence can, show that, hey, listen, this is still my division. Show me that you could beat the Texans. The Texans, they went into Jacksonville and they won by a few scores last year, which was kind of a shocker. But how the season ended up turning out, it wasn't really that much of a shocker because Texans ended up winning the division. The Texans went on the road and beat the Bengals. They beat Joe Burrow and the Bengals on the road. We'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. But, yeah, the Eagles and the Jags, two teams that collapsed last year, they're looking to redeem themselves and, go out and try to show that last year was a fluke and, try to make the playoffs. But it's a make-or-break year, for the coaching staff because if it doesn't pan out, Doug Peterson's probably gone. And probably, the general manager might be gone too. Yeah, probably is gone too. Trent Baalke. So there's a lot on the line for those guys. So, and I think Doug Peterson is a good coach. He did win the Super Bowl with the Eagles. It's not like he hasn't won anything, even though that was a long time ago. And I think in 22, despite the tough start, they finished strong. Because where they were in 21 with Urban Meyer, that was a disaster. And getting Doug Peterson in there, who has won a Super Bowl, it looked like, hey, the Jags are trending in the right direction. And then they got off to that great start, 8-3, and they were in contention for like the 1 seed. You had all these teams that were like, neck and neck for the 1 seed. Everybody was like 8-3, 8-4, but not only did they not. They didn't stay in those conversations. They just flat out missed the playoffs. So it's going to be interesting to see how they bounce back. I just want to see games being played so we could just get into it. But we still got some time to go. And, we'll see what happens. But that's really my thoughts on the Jags. So we do have a few minutes left here. But, so this is so I'm going to be going away for a little bit. It's not like forever, but I will. I'm not going to be. No shows next week. I'm not going to be around. But I will be back. So hopefully you guys don't miss me too much. But I, like I said, won't be here. And make sure to check out all the other shows. We still got content coming out, of course. But yeah, it is a good time too. We're still in the off season. Hopefully, when I come back though, we get some news on Ayuk and Tua. Maybe Tua has a new deal by then. Jordan Love maybe gets his new deal. A lot can happen in a week. Or it could be just more of like how these last couple weeks have gone, where it's just kind of been there hasn't been any major news. I at this point I just want games to start. But you're kind of contradicting yourself because I say that, but I also don't want to rush, the summer away, and we're already going to be in July soon, so already it's going fast. And based off of how the Yankees have been playing lately, I'm kind of like, how much longer do we have before football starts? Yeah, they're going through a rough patch right now. If you even want to call it that, it's worse than that, but yeah, it's already down 8-0 in the first 2 innings. But that's not going to go off on a tangent on that. But yeah, so no shows next week. Again, hopefully you guys don't miss me too much, but I will be back, of course. And hopefully we get some more news on things. But yeah, looking forward to it. So, with that is all the time that we have for today. Make sure to check out all the other shows, like I said. We're still going to have, just because I'm not here doesn't mean we don't have content still coming out. We still got shows going on all day long. So make sure to check out everybody's shows. Get perspectives on the NBA draft that happened recently. Bronny James did get drafted by the Lakers, so he is going to be joining his father, LeBron, on the Lakers. So, make sure to check out sports podcast, and of course Nelson, the basketball podcast host, get their takes on it, because I'm sure they're going to talk about it. Baseball's in full swing. It's still got some sports going on, but yeah, there's no more NHL, NBA for a little bit. We got the NBA Summer League, but I don't really pay attention to that. But yeah, make sure to check out all the other shows. I keep saying it, but make sure to do that. So that's all the time that we have for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, no shows next week. I will be back on, if my math is correct. No, it's, I think July 8th. July 8th. I will be back on July 8th. So I'll see you guys then. Take care, and I will see you guys next time.